All right, everyone, we've got some absolutely massive headlines to break down for you today. The US just moved forward with the Clarity Act in the Senate, and we're definitely diving deep into this one. Plus, NASCH jumping into tokenized stocks. And get this, XRP might actually blast off to 50 bucks. Check this out. Crypto's sitting at a mind-blowing $3,980,000,000,000 its market cap right now. The whole market's pumping up 1.3%. And folks, we are literally banging on that $4 trillion door right now. And here's where it gets really exciting. Bitcoin's absolutely crushing it at $112,300. Ethereum's looking strong at $4,300 plus. And XRP sitting pretty at $2.98. We're seeing a solid 4.9% pump in the last 24 hours and an incredible 7.4% surge over the past week. Now let's break down this price action. XRP's been moving in this tight range between $2.84 and $2.97. And guess what? We're sitting right at the high end of that range right now. This is huge, people. Here's what's got me pumped. Literally every technical analyst out there is raising their price targets higher and higher. And most of these pros are saying once we smash through that $3.03 level, we're officially entering major bull territory. XRP is climbing as we speak, so you absolutely want to keep your eyes locked on this action today. Trust Wallet just dropped something absolutely huge, and I'm talking game changer level stuff here. They literally just said good morning to people in tons of countries who can now trade tokenized stocks straight from their phones. Like, this is seriously where our entire world is heading, guys. So here's what's happening. Trust Wallet just launched tokenized stocks and ETFs, making them the very first self-custody wallet to unlock real-world assets. We're talking about over 200 million users who can now jump into real-world assets using USDC, just like everyone else in the market. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And let me tell you why this has me so pumped. It's remarkable because Trust Wallet isn't alone in this race. Ondo Finance is crushing it too. Everyone's jumping on this train. And honestly, it's about time. Big shout out to Ondo here. They've already got over 100 assets live and tokenized, and they're doing this whole thing on Ethereum. Like, that's insane progress. But here's where it gets really wild, guys. This is all coming together like puzzle pieces, and we're watching this new normal roll out right before our eyes. And guess who just made the biggest move? NASDAQ just filed with the SEC to allow tokenization and blockchain listing of stocks. We're talking about lightning speed here, okay? Just a hot minute ago, the SEC MCFTC basically said, hey, green light, NASDAQ, NYC, CME Group, you're all good to go with those tokenized stocks. And what happens next? These legends literally turn around and file the paperwork faster than I can say crypto revolution. I'm not even kidding. We're talking days here, people. But this is just the appetizer. Mark my words, the New York Stock Exchange is absolutely going to jump on this bandwagon next. And CME Group, they're going to be riding shotgun right alongside them. This train is just leaving the station, and it's about to get crazy. This is the moment that's going to blow your mind. NASDAQ just dropped their SEC filing to list tokenized stocks, and I'm literally getting goosebumps right now. People, the entire game just flipped on its head, and those crypto exchanges, they're sweating bullets because competition is about to hit them like a freight train. Friends together, mark my words, we're about to see merger madness unlike anything before. But wait, there's more. Dramatic pause. Enter Soil. Okay, listen up because this is huge. Say hello to Soil, the institutional grade yield protocol that's about to change everything. Let me break this down for you one more time because this is huge. We're talking about an institutional grade yield protocol launching directly on the XRP ledger. And get this, it's backed by some serious heavyweights. Ripple, Securitize, BlackRock, and Hamilton Lane funds. I mean, come on, guys. These aren't just any random companies we're talking about here. These are the big players supporting Soil. You know what they say, plant early, harvest big. And we're looking at a solid 7% fixed APR in actual USD. Trust me, this is absolutely something we all need to dive deeper into, friends. And guess what? I'm already on it. I've reached out to get us the inside scoop. All right, I'm literally going to move mountains to get these legends on the show, or at least corner them for a juicy one-on-one. This whole thing has me absolutely buzzing, and seeing it built right into the XRP ledger, dude, I'm practically doing backflips over here, and I know you're feeling the same energy. But wait, Here's the $1,000,000 question that's keeping me up at night. What's the real deal with legislation right now? Because let's be honest, folks, that's our battlefield. Now, if you're scratching your head wondering who's got the crystal ball on all this regulatory madness, Eleanor Tarrant is literally the oracle we all need. Shout out to our Queen Eleanor for being our lighthouse in this crazy storm. Okay, team, buckle up because we're about to tear this article apart piece by piece. Eleanor absolutely crushed it with this piece, but let me just hit you with the juiciest highlights because wow. So get this. The early buzz around the Senate Banking Committee's latest market structure draft is actually, wait for it, positive. I know, right? When's the last time we heard that kind of news? Over the weekend, all our favorite industry heavyweights were lighting up social media with their hot takes on this massive 182-page bombshell that dropped Friday afternoon. And here's what's got everyone hyped. This bill actually brings some serious clarity to the stuff we've been screaming about forever: decentralized governance, staking, airdrops, tokenization, plus rock solid protections for our software developers and self-custody rights. These are the battles we've been fighting tooth and nail, people. And finally, someone's listening and putting the right safeguards in place. Let me break this down for you because what happens next is huge. The committee's about to introduce this bill and hold a markup, possibly before this month ends. How fast this moves? Well, that totally depends on how Banking Committee Democrats react and if they're actually willing to work together on some of the more controversial parts. We'll definitely keep watching that unfold. But wait, there's more, because while all this is happening, the US Senate just moved forward with a crypto market bill that includes this tokenized assets amendment. Here's what's really cool about this. The US Senate updated their massive crypto market structure legislation on Friday, and they added specific language to make sure tokenized stocks and securities like those NASDAQs just applied to lists keep their exact same regulatory status when they transition onto blockchain platforms. So this amendment is tackling something super important. It's basically saying, look, we need clear rules for when traditional assets go digital. Right now, these assets are stuck in this weird limbo where nobody knows if they're securities or commodities. Talk about confusing, right? This committee just made a massive move for clarity here. I mean, we're talking game-changing stuff, people. But now here's the thing, and let's be real about this. There's always going to be some pushback somewhere along the line. You know how it goes. They'll probably tell us, oh, well, looks like we'll have to circle back in 26 or 27. Sound familiar? That's exactly what went down with the Genius Act situation. But here's what they do. They just keep pushing it through anyway. All right, folks, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Dimes to donuts, this baby's sailing through. And before you think I'm just blowing smoke, let me tell you why this is happening. Uncle Sam knows exactly what's on the line, keeping that almighty dollar sitting pretty on its global throne. Here's where it gets juicy, though. If they chicken out on this market infrastructure bill, they might as well kiss the Genius Act goodbye, too. Like, think about it. It's like having a Ferrari engine without the car, right? Totally pointless. I'm scratching my head trying to figure out why anyone would go through all the drama of getting the Genius Act signed, sealed, and delivered, only to pump the brakes right when they're about to cross the finish line with the infrastructure piece that makes it all click. Now, don't get me wrong, Congress has pulled some real head scratchers before that left us all going, seriously? But this time around, nah, this is bigger than politics, people. We're talking about protecting everything we hold dear. This whole lifestyle, it totally applies to our folks in Congress, just like it does to you and me. They can't just pick and choose, you know? Like if we're ditching the dollar, they're stuck with us on that ride too. So honestly, I really don't see that going down. But here's what I do think is coming. We're going to get that market infrastructure bill. And when it finally drops, trust me on this one, don't sleep on it. Listen to this.
There's two bills that are currently being discussed in the House and Senate. The one that's most likely to pass in the next 60 to 90 days is the stablecoin bill. And then the second one's the market structure bill. Once those two bills pass, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook are going to say, hey, we're crypto people now. And so they're going to put wallets in their platforms because they can capture an enormous amount of the market. When you add their user bases of 3 billion people, and when they have those 3 billion users, it's like they have cryptocurrency wallets right in Windows, right in Facebook, right in your cell phone apps, right in iOS. And because they now can legally hold stablecoins and use stablecoins, they're going to do it because they don't like paying the processing fees on credit cards. So they'll issue their own stablecoins or partner with people to do that, and they have feeless transactions inside the system. And then suddenly these tech companies become financial service providers. and they have so much money and so much power that they'll push through. Once that's there and you have a good regulatory regime, it's very easy then to click a button to create yield products on top of that. So that's what's going to bring the value flow in, because the users already are wired into that system. Their money's already there. Their credit cards are already there. Their purchase power is already there. And there's just too much temptation not to do that. And the competitive equilibria are such that they have to do that. Once these two bills pass, that opens the floodgates, and that's 3 billion people that enter in.
Literally the next day, just like we watched that joint statement drop from the SEC and CFTC being like, hey, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, all you exchange guys, go ahead and list crypto. And boom, what happens just days later? NASDAQ comes out swinging, filing to list tokenized securities. You see what I'm getting at here? This is exactly the same playbook. When they finally push through that market infrastructure bill, I'm telling you, Charles totally nailed it on this one. You're going to wake up maybe a day, 2 days tops, and bam, 3 billion people suddenly have crypto wallets in their hands. We're going to layer this right on top. Now, picture this. All of these events could literally unfold within the same crazy short time frame. And wait, I'm absolutely blown away that seasoned Bitcoin veteran Pompeius is actually calling it. He believes the SEC will approve those pending spot XRP ETFs come October. Talk about perfect timing. All these conditions might just line up perfectly for XRP to absolutely rocket to $50 before this year wraps up. I mean, we're talking lightning speed here. Now, you're probably thinking that sounds totally insane, right? Well, hold up. You've got to hear exactly what this guy's saying. So veteran investor Pompeius just dropped some serious insights that got my attention. He's basically saying that if the SEC gives the green light to all these pending applications, we could see ETFs skyrocket to $50. Now, here's what's really interesting. He's tracking at least 6 major players who've already thrown their hats in the ring with active S1 filings. We're talking about some heavy hitters here: Bitwise, Wisdom Tree, 21 Shares, Canary Capital, CoinShares, and Franklin Templeton. So here's where things get really juicy. According to Pompeius, the timing of all these filings is no coincidence, guys. They dropped right after the SEC basically threw in the towel on that whole Ripple case, and that timing tells us everything. These issuers aren't just filing papers for fun. They're gearing up for what could be a massive launch window. Now, pay attention to this date. October is absolutely crucial here. The SEC's review calendar has basically clustered multiple XRP ETF applications all around late October 25th. But wait, it gets better. That's the exact same time frame, late October, early November, when we're expecting the Clarity Act legislation to drop. Coincidence? I think not. We're looking at this perfect storm moment where the banking license, national charter license, and the Fed master account decisions are all hitting at the same time. It's like everything's lining up in this one window. Now, Pompeius makes this brilliant point. This could literally be an all green celebration or an all red disaster if things don't go their way. But here's where it gets juicy. If these approvals actually come through, we're talking about the ETF launch kicking off in Q4. That's when institutional money starts flooding into XRP like never before. And get this, industry insiders are projecting something absolutely wild. They're saying the first month alone of spot XRP ETF inflows could smash through $5 billion. Stephen McClurg from Canary Capital has been talking about exactly this scenario. JP Morgan just dropped some crazy numbers. They're talking about $8 billion flowing in during just the first month. Can you believe that? And we're looking at around $35 billion sitting in escrow right now, plus a huge chunk of the circulating supply is locked up with exchanges and major holders. What does this mean? The actual free float out there, it's super thin, people. And you know what? That's exactly how we should be thinking about these ETFs. Picture this. They're like massive vacuums just sucking up all that liquidity from the market and parking it with qualified custodians to back these ETF products. When that happens, what do you think occurs next? Prices start climbing, or at the very least, you're getting some serious upward pressure on the market. Pretty wild stuff. And honestly, when you factor in all the other moving pieces here, the Clarity Act just basically rolled out the red carpet for every financial institution to crash this party, okay? We're looking at tokenized stock options and offerings that are straight up about to send shockwaves through the entire market ecosystem. Guys, picture this. NASDAQ dropping tokenized stocks, and the demand is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Like, we're talking next level crazy here. And they're obviously going to sprinkle some crypto magic on top, because why wouldn't they? The New York Stock Exchange, oh man, they're not sleeping on this either. They'll be jumping in head first. This whole thing is about to set the planet on fire in ways we've literally never witnessed before. Let's dive into this real quick. But wait, if you think that sounds insane, check this out. Javon Marks is saying that if XRP just repeats what happened back in 201.7 cents, I mean, when we're talking about $40, 0 cents, $50, 0 cents, maybe $27, 0 cents per XRP, we're not even scratching the surface of what could happen if we get that 2017, 2018 magic all over again. And here's the wild part. The charts right now, they're literally copying that exact same pattern from 201.72.018. So the big question is, are we getting a full-blown repeat or just something that kind of rhymes with history? Nobody's got that crystal ball, but man, I'm feeling pretty good about having our bags loaded up while we sit back and watch this unfold.